Welcome to Big Boof Bets. It's the Get That Money podcast. As always, I am Nate Stevenson, joined by Mr. Big Boofy Skirman and Mr. Tony T-Bone Guarino. I would ask how you guys are doing, which, I still am going to do that. But I got to say, I'm a little down. It's week 17, which means the regular season's over after this week. So it's a bittersweet for me. How about you guys?
Same thing, man. Always a bittersweet time of year. The season is getting to its most exciting parts. And at the same time, you just know the end is near and you're not going to have football for another 6 months or so. So, like you said, always a bittersweet time of year.
How about you, Tom?
Should all bad bets so be forgot and never brought to mind?
We want units for the people, yeah. Na, na, na.
Yeah, something old lang syne. Hey, Happy New Year, everybody. It's New Year's week. I was going to bring the negativity like usual, but hey, we're trying to get out of 2020, start 2021 on a positive note. So yeah, let's end this NFL regular season on a more positive note. Let's ring in the new year with lots of units. But as was stated in the song, we want to let all those bad units be forgotten. So, Boof, why don't you give us a recap on last week?
Thankfully, there aren't that many bad units here. Locks went 5, 6, and 1. The losers, as usual, we go first. Texans -7, which was a conditional pick. And sadly, it did come to fruition. It was a loser. Browns -9.5. They lose outright. Colts -1.5. Colts and Steelers under 45. Rams +1.5. And the Eagles -2. Our winners were the Falcons +11. Bears -7. That was also a conditional pick. So we went 1-1 on the conditionals. Ravens -10.5. Rams and Seahawks under 47.5. And the Bills -7. Chargers we had at -3. Congratulations if you happen to get them while they were at 2.5. That was a winner. The -3 was a push, which brings our total for the season here at 77, 66, and 5 with a 53.85% success rate. I know all of us were really busy with Christmas and stuff, so we did not actually put any props up for you guys. Apologies for that. That will be fixed this week, and props will definitely be back. So make sure you're still following us on social media, and make sure to check, typically 2-3 hours before kickoff. Definitely about 2 hours before kickoff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And with that being said, I know week 17 is always a little bit of a tricky one as far as who's going to play, who's not going to play, how seriously should you take a team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm happy to say that after, doing our discussion that we always do before recording, I feel very confident about this week's picks. So on that note, let's get into it, Tom?
All right. I like it. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. And this week, unfortunately, we got to go all the way right to Sunday, skipping all the fun until then. But we'll start things off with the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have the Bucs laying 6.5 and the over-under at 50.5.
I feel like it's taken us almost 2 years to figure these guys out, but after last week, with us correctly taking the points with the Falcons, I think we finally figured them out somewhat. They're consistently playing better under Raheem Morris. They're honestly, even since their season's been over for several weeks now, they're still pesky and playing hard for their coach. And when they just recently played the Buccaneers, they lost by only 4 points, and we are getting 6.5. I don't think that's terrible, but I would much rather wait for the 7, which I do expect to appear at some point this week, especially after the nationally televised beatdown the Tampa Bay Buccaneers put on the Detroit Lions. So I'm going to go, as long as you're willing to join me here, Boof, +7 conditional on the Falcons.
Well, I am going to go with you on that. Similarly to how we talked last week with not necessarily having confidence in the Bucs with their large spread against the Lions. I just don't think this team has consistently gone out and kicked butt the way that like you kind of think of them with the paper all-stars that they have on that team.
I agree. Last week was what they should have done several times this season, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's what you expected to see from them a lot this season, and we've only seen it against a Lions team that's banged up, stinks, and doesn't have a whole lot to play for. 2 weeks ago, like you said, this was a 4-point game, and Tampa Bay needed a second half miracle to pull that one off. So I like Atlanta here. I like them at the plus 6.5, but I'm going to be greedy with you. Let's wait for the 7 and conditionally take the Falcons at plus 7. It's our first lock of the week.
Oh, yeah. Lock it in. Get that money. Conditionally.
All right, up next, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Ravens laying 11.5, and you're over-under at 44.5.
Yeah, I would lay, honestly, maybe 3 touchdowns in this game, and I might bite up to that point. Baltimore scrubs, crap teams. Cincy's one of the worst. Baltimore's a bully. They have to win this game to get into the playoffs. They will not take their foot off the gas until this is comfortably in hand. I honestly believe you can feel very safe buying this up to 2 touchdowns and still hitting that. So, like I said, I'm definitely going to be taking minus 11.5, obviously, and selling some points up to 20.5 or 21 to get a nice plus payout. So, yeah, Ravens here all day.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, the Ravens played the Browns, and they won 47-42. And after winning that one, you kind of did a little look ahead, and it was like, well, the Ravens are going to need to win all their games to get into the playoffs. But at the same time, they're playing the Jags, the Giants, and the Bengals, obviously all very easily winnable games. And they went ahead, they beat the Jags 40-14. They beat the Giants 27-13. Both of those are at least 2 touchdowns. I think the Bengals are more in the Jaguars territory here where that was a 26-point victory. I agree with Nate. I think this is another beatdown. It's 11.5. It's up to 12 on other books. I say grab it definitely before it gets to 13. And it's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money. Bengals still suck.
Okay, moving on. We have the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. Cowboys laying 2.5, and you're over under at 44.5.
My God, it's amazing what a couple good weeks for the Cowboys here, and the situation their opponent's in changes your opinion. But I am going to lay the 2.5 with Dallas. Dalton, who was rumor has it was in a very expensive waiver wire pickup for our friend here. He's been cooking pretty good, man. He's looked great. Last couple weeks, the offense has been putting up a lot of points. Defense has gotten a little healthier. Still not great, but not as bad as they've been. And you have a Giants outfit that has a very immobile Daniel Jones at quarterback with a hamstring and ankle injuries that he's dealing with. And he's just not the same quarterback if he can't move around. Last week against the Ravens have shown that. I mean, he couldn't even avoid people in the pocket. So even though you have a Dallas team that's, again, still not a great defense, Jones not being able to run is a big deal. The Cowboys are definitely the better offense. We're getting under a field goal for a Cowboys team that, if they win, combined with a Washington football team loss, they are miraculously the division champions and in the playoffs. So a lot of motivation here. Honestly, for both teams, whoever wins this game, if Washington loses, they're in the playoffs. But I just think Dallas right now is in a much better situation offensively. So I'm rolling with Dallas.
Yeah, so last week, Dallas played Philly, and I kind of see things, similarly but different, and I know that doesn't make any sense. But I think the Cowboys are the better team. It's just that time of year where, especially with recent history, Dallas has found a way to lose these kind of games. And if talking about last week, Philadelphia had found ways to win those games. Now, obviously, Dallas went out and took care of business last week. So to me, the team that I would have been more afraid between Philly and the Giants, I would have been more afraid of Philly. And Dallas already beat them. So now we come to week 17 and a chance to win the division and get into the playoffs. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to take care of business here and cover the -2.5. So that being said, it's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
All right, let's move on and take a look at the Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Bills currently laying 1 and the over-under at 44.5.
So we had a lot of debate about this game. I don't even call it debate. A lot of just in-depth discussion. Like, Buffalo obviously is the better team. You know, they won the division. They're literally a Hail Mary away from winning 8 in a row going into the playoffs here, or at least up to the last game of the season here going into the playoffs. They've looked fantastic and continually improving. If Buffalo plays all of its starters, I'm loving Buffalo to win the game. Obviously, the spread's different as well. But the spread would lead you to believe that Vegas expects the Bills to rest some of their players. So that's a big deal, especially if those players are Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, which at least in my opinion would be expected. So you're already going to get a less than full strength effort from the Buffalo offense. Conversely, you have Miami that they have to win this game pretty much to get into the playoffs. But, you know, they're not that great offensively. And Tua is confirmed to start, which right now I don't think he's the best quarterback on their team. I still think that's Fitzpatrick. So, there's really a chance that the Buffalo backups could keep this game close enough or even eke out a victory if Tua doesn't play well enough, and he's kept in the game too long. At +1 for the Dolphins is basically a pick 'em. I would lean Miami just because they have to win and Buffalo's going to play their backups, but too much uncertainty here, so we're going to pass.
I agree with every single thing you said there, buddy. If you made me, I would take the Dolphins, but obviously too much uncertainty here, and I am going to pass.
All right, moving on, we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. The Vikings laying 6.5 and the over-under at 54.5.
Lions, no Kenny Galladay again this week. Probably no Matt Stafford after the ankle injury this past week against Tampa Bay. And a Vikings team that, although out of the playoffs, is clearly better pretty much everywhere. We're laying under a touchdown. I like the Vikings to finish the season strong. We're going to keep it really simple. Lay the 6.5 with the Vikes.
Yeah, we have Justin Jefferson with an excellent rookie wide receiver campaign, possibly a long shot offensive rookie of the year. Dalvin Cook looking to put an exclamation point on another excellent season. Lions think they just lost by 40. And the Vikings are not excellent, but they're way better than that. We're only laying 6.5. It's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
Up next, we have the New York Jets at the New England Patriots. Who would have thought this might be an equation game? Well, the Patriots laying 3 and the over-under at 40.
You know what, there, guys? You may think that I was going to say this is an equation game. And both sides are poop. But I'm going to blow your mind here.
You want some of this poop.
I mean, I want some of this poop. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jets +3 all day, baby. The Patriots suck. They can't score. Like, can't even throw a football. I literally had 2 live bets last night that I took the under on 0.5 touchdown passes for Cam and his under passing yards because I knew he was going to get pulled from the game for sucking so bad. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the Patriots miraculously are the worst team, I believe, on both sides of the ball. And the Jets also miraculously on a 2-game winning streak. So I don't hate the Jets +3. I'm going to take the Jets +3. I already have taken that. And I'm going to take some Jets money line, some of my parlays that are more of a long shot variety.
I, unlike Nate, like to keep my money. And thus, I am not about to put your New York Football Jets in play in any capacity, I will simply be passing.
Okay, up next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns. The Steelers getting 10, and the over-under at 42.
So, yeah, obviously, Steelers getting 10 points. That is due to them resting Big Ben and several key starters, which are not yet known. Hence, the Steelers getting 10 points. Browns, however, do have to win this game. And I got to ask you, both you guys, don't you guys feel like the most Browns thing to do would be to lose this game against the Steelers backups?
Yes, I definitely think that would be the most Browns thing ever.
Tone, you think they're going to make some Brown miss the playoffs?
Yes.
This is the way.
Sweet to the point, Tone. That's the way I like it, baby. I expect the Browns to win. They do have to win this game. The Steelers getting double-digit points, even their backups against the Browns. I mean, the Browns ain't the Chiefs, so we're getting 10 points. I've already seen a Steelers backup quarterback beat the Browns last year, and it was the third string or fourth string quarterback, whichever you want to call it, Duck. So I like the Steelers getting double digits, and considering both games last year went under with both of the Steelers backup quarterbacks, I like under 42 as well. So I think the perfect way to bet this game is Browns money line and Steelers plus the points and the under 42.
Okay, Nate, so you touched on last year a little bit. Obviously, we're doing that because Ben is not expected to play, and more starters, obviously, are also not expected to play. So we can only put so much weight into this, but you can put a good amount because we have a large sample size without Ben at quarterback. And after he got injured last year, the Steelers played 14 games, 11 of which went under this total of 42. And both of them against Cleveland, as Nate said, went under the same total. And then beyond that, if you just kind of think about it logically, when you have a spread that is double digits like this and an over-under that is only at 42, it's a small window if we expect a low amount of points to be scored for Cleveland to win by 10. So beyond just it's Cleveland, they just lost to the Jets when they are finally ready to make the playoffs and the first time in who knows how long. They just lost to the Jets. Now they might lose to the Steelers backups and whatever. Beyond just that.
That was missing literally their entire wide receiving core due to COVID, by the way.
I know that, but they had everybody else. I mean, you had your defense, you have a very strong running game. Like, we're supposed to be able to figure it out.
I hear you, man. I'm just saying
it's the Jets.
I hear
we
you.
were only missing the receivers. It wasn't like Baltimore where they were missing 20 guys. So, I don't know. Just mathematically talking here, it's a small window there. I think the Steelers will be able to cover plus 10. If they score 17 points, I mean, that should easily be good enough. I don't think they'll give up more than 27 at that point. So, I like the Steelers plus 10. I love the under. Both of them are going to be locks for us. And it's double lock Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Lock it in. Get that money. Twice.
All right. The final game for the 1 o'clock hour on Sunday is the Tennessee Titans at the Houston Texans. Titans laying 7.5 and the over-under at 56.5.
Definitely like the Titans to win the game here. This is a must-win for them to get into the playoffs. 7.5. I wouldn't hate laying that, but I would rather wait for 7. I just think that when you have Deshaun Watson, there's always a chance that he could keep it close, if not, pull out something miraculous and win the game. I don't expect the latter, but 7 is a much more comfortable number for me. And normally, when people are getting over a touchdown with a star such as Deshaun Watson, you're going to have some money come in at some point to at least bring that down to 7. So I'm just going to wait that out because I think that's a smarter way to play it. And I hope you'll join me, Boof.
Yeah, the first time these guys played, it was a 42-36 Tennessee win in overtime. Will Fuller was available in that game. He had 123 yards and a touchdown. And obviously, Houston had a lot more to play for at that point. J.J. Watt obviously had his little spiel after last week's game, basically calling out the effort and commitment of his own teammates. So it doesn't sound like everything is just peachy down in Houston. Tennessee really needs this one. They have been playing good football despite getting whooped by the Packers. Outside of that, they've been playing good football. They have been able to cover this number against lesser teams, which at this point I do consider Houston to be in that category. I agree. Over 7, I mean, that's probably the most critical checkpoint that there is when it comes to betting. I mean, that's when we're officially getting into it's going to take a second possession to cover that number. So I am definitely going to wait for the 7, and we're going to conditionally lock this one, Tennessee -7.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money. Conditionally.
Okay, that takes us into the late afternoon games on Sunday, where we'll start things off with the Arizona Cardinals at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams laying 1, and the over-under at a very low 38.5.
Well, Boof, you can tell Justine she can feel very good about this week because I'm betting against the Cardinals.
Love it, dude. You're going to be doing good things for me.
I don't care that the Rams are starting a backup quarterback because the way Jared Goff plays sometimes, it might be an improvement. And at the very least, it probably won't be worse. So I feel it basically a pick 'em. We're laying a point in what is a default playoff game for both of these teams. Win you're in, lose or go home. Rams, better defense, better skill across the board. Obviously, D-Hop being the best wide receiver, but I do think the Rams' offensive skill is more evenly distributed. They have the better defense. Definitely the 2 best defensive players in this game and 2 of the better defensive players in this league in Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald. They beat the Cards last time they played by 10, and that was when Kyler Murray was healthy. If he even plays this game, he's coming in with an injured leg, which if he can't run, their offense is just not the same. And if he doesn't play, you're looking at a backup quarterback against one of the best defenses in the league. So I feel like the Rams -1 is a good play here, just when you take all that into consideration. And I think the Rams backup quarterback is a very interesting person in and of himself, just because he played in the AAF, and in the short-lived time that league existed in 2019, he was leading the league in touchdown passes. So, it's not the best accolade ever, but it's at least something to hang your hat on. And I remember the Rams a long time ago making a lot of hay with an unnamed quarterback out of nowhere. So who knows? Maybe they'll get lucky and lightning will strike twice here.
So are you suggesting that we potentially have another Kurt Warner in the making here?
I mean, I'm not saying it's not a possibility here, Boof.
We're not saying it's not going to happen. All right, I like it. Yeah, honestly, man, you pretty much hit on all of it. Rams already beat them by 10. The Cardinals really do need a full-strength Murray to be effective. When he doesn't run the ball, they haven't been good. That's been the case all season. The first time they played, Jalen Ramsey held DeAndre Hopkins in check. And we got potentially the next Kurt Warner playing QB for the Rams. So the injury to Goff might even be an upgrade. And we're at home this time. So Rams -1, it's the play, and it's another lock for us.
This breakdown's for you, Zook. Oh, yeah. Get that money.
Okay, up next we have the Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. Packers laying 4.5, and the over-under at 50.5.
2 questions for you here, Boof. Are the Bears still led by Mitchell Trubisky and still the Bears?
Yes.
That's all I need to know. Green Bay, lay to 4.5. Have to win this game to get the number 1 seed and get the bye. Easy money.
All right, I would like to be clear that just my own personal stance on this one, I do not think the Bears stink. I have to come around on that after their performance the last 2 weeks.
Agreed. MVP Mitch has actually kind of showed up since he's got back under the helm, so I will agree with you on that.
That being said, I do still think the Packers are significantly better than them. They did win the first game by 16 points. So I really like the 4.5 number in a game that the Packers need to get a bye week, which if that isn't motivation for you, I don't know what is. Beyond that, I really like the over 50.5 points. The Bears' last 5 games have gone versus the Jags, a total of 58, versus the Vikings, a total of 60, versus the Texans, a total of 43, but the Bears scored 36 in that game, versus the Lions, a total of 64, and versus the Bears the first time, a total of 65. So the Bears have been a lot better offensively over the last 5 weeks or so. And obviously the Packers have been awesome on offense this year all season. Their defense is okay. I love over 50.5 here. It's one of my favorite bets of the week. So 2 locks in this one: Packers minus 4.5 and over 50.5 for the game total.
Oh yeah, lock it in. Get that money. Twice. Go Packers.
Okay, moving on, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts laying 14 and the over-under at 50.
Indy has to win to get into the playoffs. Jacksonville sucks. They're already booking those tee times. I don't care. They're getting 14. My lean would be for Indy to absolutely wipe the field here with the Jags. But, you just don't know what type of effort you're going to get out of the Jags here and who they're going to play where. So these are guys still playing for jobs. So 2 touchdowns is a lot. So I'm going to pass on everything in this game. And my only advice for those making parlays is just throw an Indy halftime, full-time in there at minus 260 to pad that payout.
Yeah, truthfully, I think that's the way to go. Do it in a parlay. Go with the halftime, full-time. I do expect the Colts to whoop the Jags. But let's be honest. I mean, minus 14 is a getting whooped kind of spread. So I think it is appropriately handicapped, and I will be passing.
All right, moving on, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. The Raiders laying 2.5 and the over-under at 50.5.
Another rare thing for me this week. I'm going to take the Jets and the Broncos in the same week. I just honestly, the biggest part of this handicap for me is the Raiders lost in just unbelievable fashion last week, unbelievably heartbreaking fashion last week to end their playoff hopes. They're now going on the road to the altitude of Denver, who, has a pretty good offense. Well, let's back that up. They have the potential to be a pretty good offense. And I do think that when that potential goes against a crappy Raiders and injured Raiders defense, especially their secondary, the Broncos could score enough points to win. And a lot of that is me just thinking that the Raiders just don't give a crap this game either. So I think the Broncos with the points are the better play. So I have already put the Broncos money line in a parlay, which I'm going to enjoy the benefits of, hopefully. So I'm going to go there, and considering the injured / badness of both defenses, I don't even badness is even a bad word. Crappiness, horribleness. What do you want to say? I think there's going to be a lot of. What's that?
I said I think they all apply.
Yeah, there you go. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored, and 50.5 is a very reasonable number here. 27-24 gets that done. So yeah, I think the best bet here is over 50.5. So that's where I'm going to go.
So just to be clear for the people here, we had the Raiders beat the Broncos by 25 in the first matchup, and you're taking the Broncos on the money line here?
That is correct.
Oh, now you're just being crazy.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was documented. Okay, thank you, sir. Obviously, I like the Raiders. They whooped them the first time. I think in general they are the better team. The Broncos defense has been injured all season. Now, while the Raiders' defense just stinks, they don't even need to be injured to stink. Offensively, they are a lot better, and I think that will show up again here in the second matchup. The spread is only 2.5. So the real question is, Nate, do you want to pizza box that?
No, Boof. I'm very confident in my pizza box record. And I figure I'm just going to add on to that total to end the season here. The regular season, that is. So you're damn right I am, baby.
Pizza time.
Okay, I like it. We got a pizza box on the Raiders minus 2.5. Beyond that, the over-under of 50.5. I know I've shared this multiple times this season. The Raiders are just an over kind of team. And with the total at 50.5, the Raiders have played in games that have covered that total 12 out of 15 times. I don't see any reason why we can't make that 13 out of 16 times. Love the over, and that's a lock for us.
Oh, yeah. Lock it in. Get that money on the pizza box, baby.
Up next, we have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chargers laying 3.5. I repeat, Chargers laying 3.5, and the over-under at 43.5. That's that Week 17 magic.
That's some Week 17 stuff that you'll see right there.
Oh, exactly. That's just straight up weak sauce. I mean, if Anthony Lynn's laying over a field goal, I better be playing the damn Jets. I don't care if it's a Chiefs backups or not. So, I mean, that right away, that says I want no part of the spread. We were discussing this earlier today, and like I straight up said to Boof that like the most Anthony Lynn loss ever would be losing to the Chiefs backups, which, you know, you're still dealing with Demarcus Robinson and Nicole Hardman at wide receiver who could still run by anybody. So I want no part of this. It wouldn't surprise me if the Chiefs still win. But considering the ability of the Chiefs offense, injuries on the Chargers defense, and most importantly, the explosiveness of the Chargers offense with Justin Herbert, soon to be Offensive Rookie of the Year, and his awesome abilities. Over 43.5, I think that is a very, very juicy total, which I will be on and all over. Give me over 43.5.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you see a total of 43.5, first thing that jumps out of your jumps off the page at you is just, boy, that's kind of a low number. Obviously, the Chiefs were looking at their backups playing the game. Their backup quarterback is Chad Henne. So he is a real professional quarterback. He's been in the league a long time. Beyond that, I mean, as you go down the depth chart on the Chiefs, so it's like, okay, maybe Watkins isn't going to play, Tyreek Hill isn't going to play, Kelsey isn't going to play, Le'Veon Bell isn't going to play. At some point, somebody has to play. So we're still looking at Demarcus Robinson. We got Mecole Hardman. We still have Thompson at running back. So there's still some weapons there on offense. And I can't help but think to myself, especially after, you know, Andy Reid being in the league for so long and getting to watch him, not only does he embrace this challenge and has he excelled in situations like this in the past, but I think he really enjoys it. So I expect the Chiefs to have a pretty creative game plan that's going to allow Chad Henne and company to be successful. Beyond that, we're looking at the Chargers. Justin Herbert is close to the 4,000 yards and 30 touchdown milestones. He'll be doing that as a rookie and is still in contention to win and is probably the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And you take that a little step further where the Chiefs' top defenders are also not going to be playing because they have everything locked up. I love hitting the over 43.5 here. I think Vegas is way off, undervaluing the Chiefs offense and what they're going to be able to do against the Chargers defense that hasn't been that good all season. And it's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money. Go, Chargers, go.
Okay, moving on, we have the New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. Saints laying 6.5, and the over-under at 47.5.
Saints have, I believe, everyone except Michael Thomas in a must-win game to give themselves a chance at the number 1 seed. We're laying under a touchdown against the Panthers. And I expect Drew Brees to continue shaking off the rust here in preparation for what I and the Saints expect to be a long playoff run. We're laying under a touchdown. That is a very key number against the Panthers and, more importantly, Teddy Bridgewater, who likes to cover literally just, I feel like he almost always covers anything over a touchdown. We're under a touchdown. Give me the Nolans Saints minus 6.5.
Yeah, this game I think is kind of similar to the Saints versus Vikings last week, and I was worried about it. And I said I would have leaned to the Vikings with the +7 at the time. Saints went out and won by 19. Now I'm not saying we can just expect another 6 touchdown performance out of Alvin Kamara or anything,
Yeah.
but
You don't know nothing about that.
Ignore my fantasy woes, fantasy championship woes. But I just see the Saints. I think that performance last week really helps Drew Brees. So if the Panthers are more focused on making sure they shut Kamara down, then some of the easy passes that Drew Brees has made a career off of are going to be popping up again for him. It is under a touchdown. I mean, from the Panthers' perspective, I know I shared last week how they had covered +8 in every game except for – I'm sorry, they had covered +9 in every game except for the 2 that they played against the Panthers. And they did go ahead and cover that again against the Packers. But this is 6.5. It's not 9. And when you go back and look at that, it's a lot different. So I like the Saints minus 6.5, and it's going to be another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
All right, the final 4 o'clock game for Sunday is the Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. Seahawks laying 5.5, and the over-under at 46.5.
Russell Wilson is not Kyler Murray, and although Russ hasn't been cooking as good as he has been for the earlier part of the season, I still like the Seahawks to get this done. Not only win the game, but cover under a touchdown against a severely depleted San Francisco 49ers team. Seattle already has the division wrapped up, but they do have an outside chance at the number one seed. So I do expect to get a good effort out of Seattle. You also have San Francisco going with their third string quarterback in Beathard. I mean, some would argue that it may or may not be a downgrade from Nick Mullins. I think it's at least a small downgrade. And like I said, Seattle, much better team. And also on top of that, improving defensively. So let me lay the points with Seattle. And considering that Seattle has gone under 5 out of 6, the total is 46.5, as Tone said. Seattle's gone under that 5 out of the last 6 games. San Francisco, 4 out of the last 6 games. Those are good percentages and odds for me. So also give me the under of 46.5.
Yeah, Seattle beat the 49ers by 10 in the first matchup. Jimmy G started that game, and Nick Mullins came in after that. Neither one of them will be available in this one. Brandon Ayuk was the team's leading receiver with 91 yards. Kittle played that game. None of these guys are available. Deebo Samuel also not expected to be around. I love the Seahawks minus 5.5. And then, like Nate said, pretty much when Pete Carroll said that Russell Wilson isn't allowed to cook anymore and we need to run the ball more, blah, 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 blah. The Seahawks have not been playing any games with a ton of points. So they've gone under 5 out of 6, as already stated. We're going to be taking the under as well. It's another double lock game for us in the Week 17 slate.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money. Twice.
All right, well, that takes us to our final NFL regular season game for this 2020 season. Couldn't think of a more 2020 way to end it than some Sunday night football, which will be between the Washington football team and the Philadelphia Eagles. That's WFT at the Eagles. The football team laying 1.5 and the over-under at 44.
I can't resist the temptation for what potentially can be the last time to use the WFT joke here, Tone. And I feel like that's basically what they said to Dwayne Haskins before they cut him after his shenanigans the past 2 weeks. They're like, bro, WTF, you can get out. So, no Dwayne Haskins in the football team land. Maybe Alex Smith with his injured calf. Maybe some four-stringer named Hinike. I don't know. But he's their fourth-stringer. And this is the football team. They're not world beaters. They have a good defense. They have an okay offense when they're all clicking. I just gotta say here, they're already past their best stretch of football here. You have Gibson that came back last week. There's no way turf toe is 100% after a couple weeks, and Alex Smith coming back on a bad leg. I just don't think they have what it takes to win the division. I think Jalen Hurts has looked pretty good since he's been named the starter in Philly. I expect him to try to go out of this season on a good note. And we got Philly here plus 1.5. I expect them to rain on the football team's parade en route to sending the Dallas Cowboys, their bitter rival, to the playoffs. Give me the Eagles plus 1.5.
Alex Smith potentially coming back with a calf injury. Beyond that, Terry McLaurin did not play last week. If he does come back, he was out with an ankle injury. I doubt he will be at 100%. Without him, Washington's, receivers and tight ends, I guess Logan Thomas is good, but their receivers are not really good enough to take advantage of Philly's greatest weakness, which has just been their secondary that's just been injured for a long time now. So I like the Eagles. I honestly don't know why they're not the team that is favored here. I like them on the money line. You're giving me plus 1.5. I'm not going to give them back. I'm going to take the Eagles plus 1.5. And we're going to close out the 2020 regular season with one more lock.
Oh, yeah. Lock it in. Get that money. Fly, Eagles, fly.
I think you collectively just got voted out of Pittsburgh for the rest of your life.
Tone, that's already happened several times, man.
That's a perma ban right there.
They got voted out years ago.
Yeah, we do not let the melodies of that song, echo anywhere within. I don't know how many miles away from Pittsburgh you are, but however many miles you are away, that's the radius that it still covers. All right, boys. Well, that does wrap up the 2020 regular season. I also want to say it's been a pleasure, obviously. A lot of fun. Don't have a whole lot to say. Just Happy New Year to both you guys. Happy New Year to all of our listeners out there. And let's hope that 2021 is a year of years. Other than that, one last time for the regular season, got to get my playoff legs underneath me. Boof, over to you. Let's recap what we got for this week.
Well, we have a potential for 16 locks this week. They are Falcons conditionally at plus 7, Ravens minus 11.5, Cowboys minus 2.5, Vikings minus 6.5, Steelers plus 10, Steelers and Browns under 42, Titans conditionally at minus 7, Rams minus 1, Packers minus 4.5, Packers and Bears over 50.5, Raiders and Broncos over 50.5, Chargers and Chiefs over 43.5, Saints minus 6.5, Seahawks minus 5.5, Seahawks and 49ers under 46.5, and the Eagles plus 1.5. And one last time for the regular season. How about a few parlays for the people here, Nate?
Oh, baby. And it being the last week of the regular season, this is the last chance for that big, big money. So, of course, we got a nice little 3-tier Nate parlay system here for everybody. And we're going for it all this week with this first leg. Just wait to hear what I have for you here. We're going to start out. We got 15 legs on this bad boy. We got Atlanta plus 11.5. We're buying points up to 11.5, only minus 210. We're going Baltimore minus 11.5. Dallas money line. Minnesota minus 6.5. The Jets plus 3. The Steelers plus 10. Tennessee buying a point to minus 6.5. That's minus 130. Rams minus 1. Green Bay minus 5.5. That's what it is on FanDuel. So if you get it a better number somewhere else, awesome. Colts halftime, full time. That is minus 260. Las Vegas, Denver, buying some points down on the total to 44.5. That is minus 240. We got the Chargers, Kansas City total over 43.5. Saints money line, Seattle minus 5.5, and the Philly money line. That is a 15-leg parlay for plus 400,202, which means you can bet only $10 and win $40,020.19. And leg number 2, we're going down to 11 legs at plus 79.96 on the odds. And we are subbing out the Minnesota spread for the Minnesota money line. Same thing with Tennessee, subbing out the spread for the money line. Same thing for Green Bay, spread for the money line. And Seattle, spread for the money line. And we are subtracting the Jets, the Steelers, the Rams, and the Chargers Kansas City total. And then that is, as I said, that is 11 legs plus 79.96. So a $100 bet will win you just under $8,000. And the last parlay, get out of jail free. I really, really like this one. Honestly, probably one of my favorite ones of the season. We got Baltimore minus 11.5. The Dallas, Minnesota, Tennessee, Green Bay, Saints, and Seattle money lines, and Colts halftime full-time for an 8-leg parlay of plus 1817, which means a $100 bet will win you $1,817. Let's get that money, people.
All right there, Nate. Thank you very much for sharing as always. Regular season's coming to a close here, guys. Best of luck to everybody, and let's get that money. Happy New Year, y'all.
Oh, yeah. Get that money. Happy New Year, everybody. Let's get them units.